since I've switched to Schaeffer's oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is, because I know how good Schaeffer's oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, you know, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil, having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson, and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.
Hello and welcome to round number 10 of the Schaeffer's IndyCar Series. We're from Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. This is Race First. I'm Matt Houston, joined by Gary Godso here in the booth. How's it going, Gary?
Hey, it's going good. Feels like I've been either to Indianapolis the most in the last couple weeks, or this track. It seems to be on everyone's schedule here as of late. Probably because of why it's got a foot in the grave. But sticking around a little while longer, at least in the memory here on iRacing. So we're going to see a fast one tonight. Not a big field, but a fast field.
Yeah, we currently have Dakota DeMade at our championship leader at the top of the charts there. We've got about, what are we going to have, 16, 17 cars? A bit of a small field, but we're going to be running for 100 laps. 200 miles here at the Auto Club Speedway, and like Gary hinted at, this is a track that unfortunately is going to be getting the bulldozer here soon and being converted over to like a short oval with a lot of banking. I know NASCAR
just what we need.
Yeah, I know NASCAR needs short ovals. I agree with short ovals are good, but we don't need to bulldoze our big ovals that we have. There aren't that many of them. So
well, Southern California's had a horrible history with major tracks, of course, starting with Ontario, then going to Riverside, and now this. I don't expect even the short track to even have any better luck in its history. It is a shame. This is currently where the world closed course record is still held to this day.
Yeah, you're right.
Jill DeFerrin set back in what was that, 2000? So he was driving the Renard Honda there for Roger Penske. 240 miles an hour, and we might never see that again. If we do, it's going to be probably I guess artificially helped a little bit, probably with the new pave job and some extra boost and that type of thing, maybe at Indianapolis. But
some electric engine action
electric engine action for sure. Yeah. Hybrid action. But that was 100% legit what he did at back here 20 years ago.
Yeah, it might have been 2001. It was either 2000 or 2001. I can't quite remember what year.
I think it was 2000, because I think it was before his jump, their team jump over to experimenting with IRL and then the full-time jump.
And then I think they knew that the engines their engines that year were getting a little bit detuned the following year, something like that. Kind of the heyday of kart there.
Yeah, I have that video on YouTube, and he just, it doesn't even look like he's going 240 miles an hour. That's how effortlessly he made it look. And but man, he just threw up 240 laps, boom, boom, right after another, done, and that was it. World record. And this place and also Michigan tend to held that record for the longest time. And the intermediary was Indianapolis when actually Lion Dyke held that record with his qualifying record for a couple of years before it moved back to
single lap
Montana.
237
237, yeah, officially a lap. Yep.
So we're looking Dakota DeMade. While we're talking about miles per hour, he's running at 219.559. We're going to get to the grid here, but the grid's going to come down in time rather than speeds.
Yeah, 219.5, and he was 0.3 quicker than P2. His pseudo teammate there, I guess, Caleb. He was 0.3 quicker there, so or 0.3 of a mile per hour quicker there on the racetrack. He was only 0.04 faster.
So we've got the Dakota there on pole, our championship leader, followed by third place, who was second place in qualifying here, Caleb Bensi. Isaac Morris making another appearance in the series in P3, Nicholas Isidro P4, Gavin Sanders P5, Lewis Woodall P6. Alex
now we got.
Well, you go ahead.
You got it. You go ahead, man.
Alex Simkowski, P7. Pete Donchak there in P8. Christian Jasper, P9. Chris Albee. Look good to see him back. We missed him over there at Long Beach. So, we've been in California for 2 weeks here. Michael Holler there in P11. James Watson, P12.
We got Joseph DeCiro, P13. Drew White, P14. Neil Lusher, P15, and Angelo Espo, P16, and I believe Isidro is supposed to be EOL.
Yeah, we were wondering if that was going to happen here tonight. Maybe not. Maybe taking it at Spa next week will end up being what happens. We'll see. But yeah, this is the RIL Schaeffer's IndyCar series. This is race first, and we're on the grid at Auto Club, waiting for all the drivers to grid. I think we've got one car. I'm not sure what's up. Neil Lusher not currently in the car, not currently gridded, so we're waiting for him. Either that, or we've got a 2-minute timer, and once that goes out, then that'll be that. Here we go. Our iRacing sedan pace car drives away.
A lot of lately we've seen, at least the last couple series that I've raced in here, they've all been night races. Reddit League choosing to go with a day race, a little bit different. I prefer that night racing here. Everything just looks a little bit brighter and more vivid. But day racing, it's a different feel. It's a different style of racing here. Night racing, definitely. We're going to see pack racing, but we might not see a race full of pack racing. Night races, you'll typically see a race full of pack racing all the way to the very end. Here, we might see pack racing, and then as the tires start to go away, certain cars break away while other ones kind of lag behind.
Yeah, I think I like the mix-up of doing this as a day race. I think a lot of series end up, maybe not VOR because I have some influence over there, but a lot of series end up like just going straight into the night race. Like they don't even do the sunset; they go straight night. I like the choice of going afternoon VOR. We kind of do a late afternoon, so by the end of the race, it's getting dark. But we're about to head to green here.
I was gonna watch that. This is a pretty experienced field here. Got to watch getting loose coming up to speed to turn one. Seen a lot of series have a problem with that. We'll see here. We're getting ready to go green, waiting for that green. There it is.
And with this small field, we don't want to see any contact in this first lap.
Chris Albee with the big jump on the outside there as we're coming into one. It's already made up a couple positions. Safely through one.
And onto the back straightaway. Dakota heads into turn 3. Everybody's solidly through this. Turn 4 exit, though. This is where it can get a little hairy.
Yeah. Gets a little tight there.
Yeah, it looks like we had a few cars, but get tight, but keeping it off the wall, they continue. Isidro not wasting any time, going from 4th to 1st, takes the lead on the back straightaway. Isidro, before you came on in the series, Gary, he was the first winner of the Indianapolis 300, so he knows how to get around these big ovals, either Indianapolis or Michigan or Fontana, any of these. Isaac Morris going inside of Dakota DeMade, our points leader.
Seeing a lot of guys going up to that high line immediately. 3 wide, coming off a 2 right there with Albie Holler, and we got a car contact on the outside. On the turn 2 wall, slid to the inside.
Christian Jasper, hard into the wall. No caution. I'm gonna go back and get a replay of that, though. Sorry, Christian. Tough break for Christian there. He was running the high line. That's
what happens sometimes. You live by the high line, you die by the high line.
Ooh, yeah,
high line is the fastest way around, really. Once you get these cars unwound, and now you're starting to see them all running the high line.
I'll say good on Jasper. He started coming down. He brushed the wall. He started coming down. He tried to avoid, a car colliding with a car that was on the inside line, and he just ended up hard into the wall, and then that was day over for him.
There's Isaac on the high side over Isidro as we're going 3 wide behind him with looks like one of the race first cars. We got Woodall and Gavin Sanders back there. Dakota's playing it pretty smart. There is 0 reason. I mean, somebody's got to lead laps, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there's got to be a leader. But there's 0 reason that, what are we, 6 laps in now to be even worried about, just starting lap 6, even worried about leading laps. Get your points and everything, but going to stay out in front, well, that's kind of really the option of the car behind you if they're going to let you stay there or not.
Yeah, and Caleb actually dropping back a couple positions. We've got Holler working the high line on the outside. I think the high line is where you want to be. Drew White swinging high on Bensi. Albie going to be having a look too.
The high line is where you can allow these cars to really unwind, and you don't necessarily need the aid of the draft, although it's helpful, to get a run on the car in front of you. You don't have to be in their draft or their wake at all to kind of get that additional horsepower to pass them. If they're down low and you're up high, you'll actually just naturally pass them because your car is a lot more unwound than they are, meaning you're not turning the wheel and you're not pinching off and scrubbing off as much speed running the bottom.
And of course, the other point of running the high line is you're not using up as much tire when you have to run at the bottom of the track, using a little bit more of that right front tire, right rear tire. And
here's Gavin, and he's using a lot of it because he's just motoring to the front right down there in the bottom.
Yes, he is. Drew White having a good run here today. He's up to 6th from starting 14th.
That's a nice jump, nice little run from him. Actually, Drew White has the purple lap. He's 32.9 going away on this place.
I'm going on board with Drew here. He's going inside. Well, he thinks better of it. He thought about it. Lewis Woodall up there in P4. Saw a red VOR car.
Yeah, that white lap, a 2:18.7. He's really the only one that's above a 2:18.5 other than Isidro. Actually, no, he's the only one above a 2:18.5 at all.
That was lap 10 complete, 10% through this race. We're going to be looking at pit stops. It's looking like we might have a lot of green here. We were talking to some of the drivers earlier. They were kind of hoping we might have a very green flag race, but we're looking at about, if you're the leader up here, about 36, 37 laps.
Yeah.
With the drivers behind the leader, they can make it all the way up to 40 or 41 laps, maybe even further with Drew White. I heard a sound of a wall brush, but I think he's probably okay. In fact, we ran this setup, over in the VOR, and we had a lot of cars brush the wall in that race, and they just kept going, no problem. I remember Nicholas Sudik, he was running in that, and he went up there, brushed the wall. He had a first lap incident, and he completed the race, or at least nearly got to the end, and he was running the top 5 there.
And I didn't think they ever go 3 wide for the lead into lead. One with White in the middle.
Drew White making a power move through the middle.
Of course, he's hearing right now from his spotter, 3 wide, you're in the middle. Yes. That's probably the least place you want to be when you're 3 wide. Here's a Sidro making a bit of an ambitious move, cutting to the bottom and going right back to the top. I get a little early to be doing that, but that's just me.
I wonder if Dakota and Kayla back here thought, hey, these guys are crazy. We'll just let them go do their thing.
I would not doubt it, those two. I mean, I know they're going to be, they are the 2 championship rivals along with Watson that's involved in this race. But in order to get those points, you got to survive to the end, folks. So if you can find an ally to work with and just kind of run this thing out, stay safe. Isaac Morris doing a little bit of a waggle on the back stretch. Not sure why there. But if you could find someone to work with, all the better, because you're not going to do this by yourself. And if you try, you're probably going to get collected in someone else's mistake.
Yeah, I'm going to go on board with Holler, because I think the action zone is these top 3 up here. They're fighting for the lead up there. All of them want to lead. Nobody's giving up anything. Nobody's saying, I'm going to tuck back here and save fuel. This is an easy 2-stopper to the end. Everybody's going to have to make 2 stops here.
I just heard a rogue whoa on the radio, so I'm not sure who it was, but apparently there was a close moment out there. Everybody's still in a lead lap. Jasper, of course, he might not be in a lead lap because he had a bit of a brush.
Yeah, he's in the pits.
But Neil Lusher actually is in this race. I think he started from pit road.
I think he did. He's waiting for that caution to come out.
Yeah, he is all by himself in turns 1 and 2 right now.
So Dakota's choice of meal today was Hardee's. Just FYI.
Okay.
I thought he told me. I was asking him, hey, what'd you eat today? And today was Hardee's. He didn't specifically say what he had at Hardee's. Well, he just had Hardee's.
Here's another 3 wide in the 3.
Oh, we've got a car really diving low. I'm not sure what's happening there.
Of course, out in California, it's Carl's Jr.'s.
That's right. DeCiro on the grass in turn 3 and 4. I'm not sure what happened here. He might have had a wall whack on the exit turn 3. We're going to get a replay here while we're green still. Oh, he brushed it this well before. Oh, did he brush it back in?
Wow, that draft on that upper line is so much quicker. It looked like Drew White was standing still.
All right, we're back to live pictures. Sanders in the lead now. Yeah, these toes that they're getting is like they're using the Hanford device.
Oh, of course, if you're watching from home and you don't know what the Hansford device is, basically it's a big piece of carbon fiber that hung below the rear wing that acted like a parachute, and that's exactly what it did. It was to slow the cars down, and I forget what year it was, but it was a Michigan 500, and there was in the neighborhood of 80-some-odd passes for the lead or something. It was just outrageous, and whoever was sitting out front, you were just an absolute sitting duck.
A little bit of almost a similar effect when the DW12 first came around in the IndyCar series in about 2012.
Yeah.
There was a kind of that
again.
Effect. Yeah, I saw that with Gavin and Drew White. Wow.
And those 12s had so many attachments on them that they just punched a huge hole in the air, and there really wasn't like a part there to cause the added drag to to purposely slow down the car. Those things were just were just loaded up with parts.
Yeah. I always thought that they had these like massive rear wheel covers
Yes.
And I always felt like those were kind of punching that hole in the air. I don't really know for sure. I do know that the aero screen now does make a pretty big draft, but I think the added weight of them
offsets it.
Kind of nullifies it, yeah.
Yeah.
Isaac
Drew White
sitting back here and go ahead.
13 positions for Drew White.
Basically, Drew White here is having the RIL race of his life here tonight. Here in the Rainbow Warrior livery. Dakota down there is was the creator, is the livery designer of this one. Obviously, throwback to Jeff Gordon.
Well, I tell you what, when your car feels like it's right and it wants to lead, then lead. And then obviously he feels like the car's right, and he's up there leading. I don't think he's made a lot of very aggressive or questionable moves, like a super cut down to the bottom like that from Isidro. Isidro might have got a run on him, so I don't know what was going on there, how close he got to the rear attenuator, but he's not been going 3 wide. He got close. He was in the middle, caught a couple times in the middle. But he's been driving a pretty smart race. He drove his way up to the front, pretty much using the high line exclusively until he got up here with this lead group.
And then everybody's fighting for the high line up here. Looks like DeCiro is out. I see also Christian Jasper in chat mentioning that he had a bad aero wash out of turn 2. 3 wide, though, we go. I'm going to go back to Holler and look on board from him. That looks like an action zone.
Ooh, and there you got. I think we got Gavin. Might have rushed the wall. He seems to be off the power a little bit.
Yes, he
lost his momentum. He's fallen back in and kind of behind his corporate teammate there on the Vor side of things. Let's see if he can kind of recover from that. But that's going to be a moment of driving that car, kind of hoping and praying that everything is back where it needs to be or didn't move too far from where it originally was.
Where you're going to kind of try to stay on that draft, fill it out at the moment, and get to that pit stop and see if there's any repairs on the car.
Yeah, and they're actually not too far away from that. We're coming up to they're about 10 laps away, so it's not too far from that window. Since
we're going green flag here, we're good to go to one more stop from here. So, maybe we're a little slightly early for that, but I think at 30, you're good to go.
Yeah, I think it's right around 33 laps or so, give or take, at least with the leaders. So we get to 33.66, and then there's no side draft here, Drew.
Even though he's in that Rainbow Warrior livery. Maybe he gets a little bit of side draft with that livery.
The number of people that actually think that side draft actually is something that existed in IndyCar is that's how much of a NASCAR world we live in.
That is right, yeah. Whoa, Holler and Isaac Morris there, almost contact. I don't know if you read earlier today, Gary, there is talk about an update to the new tire model, mainly for road
courses,
so that'll be interesting to see. And
then, Drew White kind of slid up right in front of Isidro. Isidro kind of didn't like that. White kind of forcing Isidro down to the white line a little bit going into turn 3 to kind of get to give him a bad arc into the corner. Isidro's still side by side that time by. Yeah, that new tire model is really not going to help me too much at the top of the course. Well, maybe it does. Maybe it ends up helping me. We'll see.
Yeah, I could be a little bit technical about it, but basically there's an issue with the current tire model on road courses with really, really long straightaways where unrealistically the tires just gain temperature on a really long straightaway.
That's Monza and Indianapolis and some of those courses that
Daytona the Daytona Road is pretty bad. Le Mans, if we drove Le Mans with this car, it'd be quite bad. But what I was also going to say here into this race is that our tires are probably starting to come off a little bit. Tire wear is starting to become an issue, and that's where you see these guys moving around the track a little bit more.
Yeah, you're starting to see some of these groups. You see a group of 3, then Haller kind of by himself, a group of 2, then a group of 4.
Isaac's
And here goes Isaac to the front.
Timed it perfectly. Drew White's
Isaac has slowly reeled these guys in. Sidro using the high side there. He's going to get a big run down this backstretch. He doesn't really have a place to go right now.
Well, we're looking at about 6 or 7 laps to a pit. We'll see who peels off first, and I kind of know, I know because I drive with them a lot. Dakota and Caleb, they're going to be kind of thinking, let's pit later because we think a caution's going to come out with somebody losing it going into the pits or whatever it might be off of 4, even losing it coming back onto the track. Yeah, I saw that with Sidro. Basically, Isidro and Drew White are just, they're really going for it here tonight. I think Isaac got up there, and he's going to go for it here too, but it was just maybe a little bit too much for him, a little bit too wild up here.
And keep in mind that Isaac doesn't run with these guys on a regular basis, and I'm not saying about all these guys. I'm talking about these 2 specifically. So he kind of got up there, led his lap, got his bonus points, and it's just kind of hanging out this way. He doesn't really know these 2 as they are with racers. Kind of behind him, he runs with Gavin quite a bit. Of course, he runs with Woodall and Watson, Bency, and DeMay. So he's kind of used to those guys. But up here at the front with the 2 leaders, not people that he races with on a regular basis. Whoa, Gavin going down to the apron there at the start-finish line.
I was on board with Isaac watching the front, so I didn't see that. So it looks like Gavin's car, at least in the draft, is A-OK at the moment. Up at the front. I heard the sound.
You would think that Isidro was just getting, he's getting a good run using the banking, coming down off the banking, and using the draft, and then able to cut underneath White coming off of 2, but making a very aggressive move. You would think at some point that these guys might just want to just stay in line and say, hey, you know what? You're going to be my blocker, and I'm going to get some fuel mileage up.
Yeah. I can also see in 14th, Neil Lusher's thinking, where's the caution, guys? I'm back here. I'm 11 seconds back. I'm crossing the start-finish line. You guys are...
entering turn 3.
Entering turn 3. I need my caution, is what he's thinking. So...
Well, I really think with the a field this small, and here comes the first of the starts, and I believe that's Albee.
Yes, there was some major backing out. I think I saw Woodall really had to back out of it.
So a lot of these guys, they've been racing the whole season. A lot of these guys are pretty good racers in their own right. That unless there was going to be a caution kind of in the first couple of laps when all the cars are together, once they got separated, we're looking at a long green run. And I would not be surprised to see this go all the way to the end. So we got Gavin and we got Watson, one of your championship points leaders, also pulling out.
I will say you do kind of want to time these so that you're coming out with somebody else, because that draft, you run faster in the draft than you do by yourself, just slightly,
sure do.
About a tenth or 2 a lap. It's significant over a 30-lap run. So we saw Neil Lusher there running the whole race kind of by himself, and he's just dropping time the whole time. He was at 11 seconds. He's at 20 now, so that's running by yourself right there. Keeping an eye on Drew White, because we're just on lap 37 here, and this is about the range you can make it as the leader in one of these races at full burn. Sure, a lot
of these guys don't do very many green flag pit stops, at least on high-speed ovals. So they're going to, and I believe we might have one of them coming in right now. There's Isidro coming off the banking.
Holler's also there.
So it looks like Sanders and Watson might have came out together, so they're going to be able to help each other.
keeping an eye on Drew White. Looks like he's going to be coming in this time.
Yeah, I think he's made that kind of dive to the inside, little non-verbal, hey, I'm coming in this time. Here he comes. And I think Isaac's going to come in too, and I wouldn't be surprised if Isaac really closes the gap up on him here, maybe even passes him going into the pits. Nope, he doesn't.
I was surprised he didn't.
Here's Neil Lusher's on pit road.
Well, that didn't work out, but...
Lewis Woodall is your leader now, followed by Bency and DeMade. So I don't know if these guys are working together, but they're definitely getting the same mileage.
They're hoping to put everybody down a lap and then that caution come out. It's going to be tough for...
Here comes Woodall.
Yep.
Off the banking. So now you have just Bency and DeMade, and then after that, the first of the cars that that stopped here in the last round.
So Caleb here being very smart, he's going to get that lap lead. That is important. He might block Dakota from getting that lap lead, and that'll be important for that championship race. I bet they're coming in at the same lap. And I bet it is this lap.
Here is Caleb off the banking.
Dakota's
going to stick it out one more.
He can make it 41, he thinks.
So this is going to get people to about lap 80-ish, and then it's going to be a sprint to the end there.
So Albie has jumped up ahead of Isidro.
And he pitted a full 3 laps sooner than Isidro, so he was banking for getting that cut, and he did.
Yes, he did. Very smart running there.
He's actually gonna get a cut and get ahead of Caleb here, who's kind of still coming up to speed.
Yeah, I think the whole field's going by Caleb there. Caleb might lose the draft back here. Let's see where Dakota comes. Dakota's on the pit lane.
Hitting his box right about now.
Yep. So that puts Isidro back into the lead, but Drew White is the one that's really missed out on this whole cycle of pit stops. He's back to P7. He'll be P6 once everybody passes Dakota.
He's shown that he can run to the front if he has to, and he's still got plenty of time. We're not even halfway.
Yes, that's right.
Dakota's going to come out with, looks like he's going to come out with Lewis. So he might be able to work with Lewis and work their way back up to the front together. But Caleb got the over on him big time, as Caleb is up the road quite a bit on him.
Yeah, and he's right behind Watson, right in that draft. He's basically still with I'll go on board with him. He's still in that lead group, whereas Woodall and Dakota, they're about 2.5 seconds back. They basically lost that lead pack, so... Yeah, that's not...
And he is barely in the grasp of Woodall's draft envelope right now. He's got about a 1.1 second gap up to Lewis, but that's about a 1.5 second is the draft envelope for these cars on the super speedways. So he's barely there. He'll slowly creep in to Lewis, and they can maybe work together to reel in the guys in front of them, but they're going to have to coordinate that, and they're not teammates, so they're going to have to do the old non-verbal, hey man, let's work this out.
Yeah, and I think
they can do it on the private net. They could do it on the private net, I guess, if everyone wants to know what they're up to.
I think Caleb here knows he's got to go, so he passed Watson. He wants to get up. He's got to get a sniff of that draft from Isaac Morris up there and get himself into that lead group. To make
Chris Albie on the high side and one.
Albie's
going to get a launch. He's going to get a great run down the backstretch here. He does the cut under, and he will reel him in without the draft at all because of that run off the high side.
Drew White's up to third again, so he's lurking.
Yeah, I told you he had a good car, man, and
Yeah.
he's right back up
Boy.
there. And we are going 3 wide.
Yes.
Ooh, won't be. Oh, we have to. I saw some smoke. I don't know if we had some contact somewhere or something. Hope everyone's okay, but there was a little puff of smoke there.
I was running the static cams right now, and that looked really. You could really tell the speed. You're talking about that lap record speed, Gary. You know what the problem with speed is on these cars is if you have a static cam, they look pretty fast. Whereas you have a camera that like pans and does all that with the cars, they don't look so fast that way.
Look at this going through turn 2 as we got 2 rows of cars. Gavin into the wall, and that is it for him. He is done. He is pulling to the inside, and I think he's done.
Yeah,
I think
finally,
that's going to be terminal damage.
Finally, Kaputski on that thing. I think he's hit it on both sides now.
Well, I'm not sure if he got forced up into that one. You might have to check the replay and see what happened there.
We've got time. We can look at this. There we go, Gavin. Let's go on board with it. He was behind Isaac. He goes high on Holler. Working that high line. Holler had Isaac below him. He was 3 wide in the middle and drifted up into Gavin. So more bad luck for Gavin here.
So it's one of those things that when you run the high line, you get a great big run.
Yes.
Except right there on exit, right there. I'm watching the replay, and whoop, there's a little touch, and he's done right there. And you can already see that he's already holding his steering wheel at a really bad angle.
Yeah. It's one of those things
right there on exit. That guy in the middle just kind of floats up, and that just happens right there on exit because, that's just kind of the natural flow of the cars when they exit turn 2.
It's one of those things all these drivers learn in iRacing is you love to run that high line. However, you really have to trust that driver below you in the high line. And more often than not, you get put up into that wall with that. So it's really unfortunate. It's just the way it goes. And then that car that put you up there gets away scot-free.
Way home.
We are. Lap 51 of 100. We'll just be looking at one more pit stop to the end.
Make sure to check us out tomorrow. The Daredevil Turbo Series will be visiting Milwaukee. We got a tight points championship. Just about as equally as tight as kind of what we got going on here, where we have a leader that's kind of fading back, not necessarily fading back in a bad way, but just the way that things working out. He's kind of fading back to the rest of the pack, and the rest of the pack's kind of grouping up, gathering up on him. And so we're going to have a nice little challenge of about 4 or 5 drivers coming down to the end there of the Turbo Series with 2 more ovals and 1 more road course to go.
So Neil Lesher, he is, I'll say, they just finished start-finish line. He's in turn 2, so they're coming up on lap traffic here soon.
See, just off there in the distance, Neil going through turns 3 and 4 right now.
Ooh, I heard some wall contact, but that could have been sometimes when the netcode does its thing, you hear a wall contact that's not real. Drew White leads that lap.
I think you have Albi's kind of very content to follow here. The two up front, they're not content to follow, but Albie definitely is content to follow.
Yeah, these guys up at the front, Isidro and Drew White, their heart rate's probably 150. I think Albie wants to keep it kind of low heartbeat. Just kind of keep it going. Make it to the end. Don't put your
And
car.
Caleb is now in the shot.
Yes. A new livery there for Caleb. We debuted yesterday in the Formula Indy Series. Team race for us running that one. Inspired by the Marcus Ericsson livery from the Nashville race. FYI.
The one that flew.
Yes,
had
and
air
the
time.
one that does the wheelie. And then one. Oh,
and there's a turn!
That is a
And there's your caution. And
into
that
the
take out
wall.
at least 2 cars.
It takes out Drew White, Albie. Albie might be okay. That right or front tire looks damaged. Yeah, let's get a replay of that.
Yeah, let's see what happened. Did White get the... Oh, netcode. There was going to be contact there anyways, but the netcode would have had and finished it off.
Yeah, let me get a slow-mo of this on the broadcast here. From Drew White. Tough break for Drew White. He was having a heck of a run. Like I said earlier, race of his RIL life here.
Yeah, that's just an awful way for it to end for him. But here we go. You see, yeah, go back. It was kind of already in the process there. And poor Albie.
Yeah, he's just, I was kind of mentioning earlier, you're on that high side. When things are bad that happen.
Maybe you can get into Albie's roll cage there and roll bar and see maybe a better shot of the lack of contact.
Yeah, it wasn't quite there on that angle.
Everybody's going to be stopping here for sure.
They're not going to quite make it to the end, but they're going to be 40 laps from the green, so there might be a little fuel save here. Oh yeah, it's almost exactly like my netcode yesterday. It was like literally 2 tire widths between Drew White and Sidra there. So really tough break for all 3 of these drivers. Put into a situation that they were having a heck of a race. We have 16 cars in this race that started it, and you get 3 taken out, a little dumb thing like that, and not dumb on their part, but just internet doing its internet thing. Polar has decided to stay out. I'm not sure on the strategy there other than lead a lap, but I would assume
that's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe he gets the lap led because he's also. We haven't really talked much about the point situation. Now might be a good time to do that.
I've got it up right now. Dakota in the lead, 332 points. James Watson. Where's James running? We haven't talked about
James is currently P4.
Yeah, so he's moving up. 284 points. I'm not going to be able to do the math on that too quick. But he's been maintaining that gap with Bensi. Bensi's just cutting into a little bit, but he might be running out of the races here. Bensi in P3, 264 points though. But that's our I think Holler is mathematically, in there maybe, but after this race, I think it's probably about over for him for any championship run. But we've got that top 3 running. So we've got Spa next week, and then we've got Gateway. That'll be our end of the run there. 2 more weeks after this one. Well, let's get a shout out. We haven't had any time for commercials yet other than the beginning.
Good time to do it, yeah.
There's 2 types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaeffer and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaeffer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaeffer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
All right, that is Schaeffer's Oil, title sponsor of the RIL IndyCar Series. Not sure if we're doing the name on the broadcast yet, but we'll be having a new name here coming up soon.
Oh, yeah.
So it has been announced. I just don't know if it's broadcastable yet. So next season for sure. Holler is staying out. I'm not sure the strategy here because he definitely has to pit again. He's on lap 21 on his stint. He's got 40 laps to go. Nobody else has to pit.
Yeah, he might be banking on another caution. I'm not quite sure. I don't think he can make it.
There's no way
he does. I don't know.
I'm not. Unless we have cautions all the way to the end.
New math.
Yeah.
Caleb's there, so Caleb, he's good to go to. Let's see. It's going to be. I think everyone's going to have to pit. Here we go, coming to green right now. Everyone's going to have to pit roughly, with the exception of Holler, inside of 10 laps. I think.
I think actually that if you save fuel from here, you're good to the end. I think they can make. So we saw earlier Dakota and Caleb. They make it like 41 laps. If you lead, you can't make it to the end. So they'd be banking on the caution. Holler, seeing that those old tires aren't working, he's got jumped. Caleb and Isaac getting around him. Gonna try to come back though. James Watson
down low.
Turbo champion from a season ago. Now Holler. I think everybody's here just said that we're gonna save fuel and be our own pack. You see that huge gap that Holler just...
Yeah, he has himself a huge gap. You don't really see this at all.
Yeah, what the heck is that?
It's so weird looking.
Everybody went down like, okay, we're going to run fuel mode 5. That's the leanest other than the caution. Yeah, so James Watson is going to be leading this group. They're all just going to be, they have these fuel modes in the car. Fuel mode 1 is the maximum fuel, and down to 5 is the leanest of a race mix that you can run. And they'll just be modulating it, between 3 and 4 and 5 and up to 2 just to make sure they stay in the draft.
Yep. So right now I'm watching Holler's... Isaac already making comments about the train back there, but Holler at the trap back there, 2:17 at the end of the front stretch, 2:17, 2:18 there at the start finish line, and he enters turn 1 at 2:19. Let's by comparison check out the group behind him. Watson exiting turn 2 at 2:09.
Yeah, so last lap for Holler was a 2:16. Watson was a 2:11, so this is the difference between going.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say balls to the wall, like Holler is. And,
Holler with the 33.2 last time by. Yeah. Watson with the 34 flat.
Yeah, down to 210. Down to 210 for Watson. These guys are just a train of we're saving fuel. Honestly, you don't want to be Watson though. You want to be Morris or
Woodall or Benzie, any one of them, yeah.
Like, you don't want to be leading that pack.
Let's taking a look at Watson on the Watson. I'm looking at his in-car, and he is half throttle. Yeah. He has one light into the yellow, running 6th gear, running the high line. I mean, it's like who wants to lead? Go right ahead.
Yeah.
Who can go the absolute slowest, the fastest?
That is exactly right. This is where, in real life, Scott Dixon is really great at this kind of game here.
Doing a bit of a weave on the backstretch. Simkowski's got a kind of snuck up in there. Yeah. He pulled Dakota right along with him.
Yeah, that's a good spot for Dakota. Dakota driving with a big smile on his face, I'm sure.
And your man Neil Lusher, P8, he's just along for the ride.
Go on board with Neil here.
Yeah, Zimkowski, he is not saving fuel right now.
He's decided to step it up.
Gear. Yeah, he's like, I'm running him down. He's 5th gear, 6th gear now, entering turn 1. And all his LED lights at the top are all pegged out. So he is going for it. Dakota's very much the same way.
They all just probably saved some fuel, and then their crew chief spotter said, now you're good to the end. I can tell you back here, Neil Lusher, though, really backing out of it as he enters turn 1. So he's doing some massive fuel save back here.
Well, I think the likelihood of this going caution-free to the end is extremely high. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Who can get the last few drops?
Yeah, so most of these cars, like you said, Gary, most of them have picked it up. Holler, last lap 2:16.5. Again, Holler has to pit, so he's almost a non-factor.
He might as well. I mean, you got to throw caution to the wind, so not to actually ask for a caution, but throw caution to the wind. Might as well just run them all out, see what happens.
With that said, I think that he might be able to, if he builds that gap as much as he has, he might be able to pit and come back out on the same lap. And then, if anybody else can't make it, or like he has a caution, I don't know. It's just, it actually, with as few cars as we have left in this race, it is interesting thing. Although Simkowski just his last lap was a 206 mile per hour average, so he decided that nope, I can't do this.
Watson now back up to the front. He is 8 seconds behind your lead. I never thought I'd say that at a Fontana race.
Yeah, though Holler back at Dover showed that he's got some strategy. He's got some chops in the strategy department. So it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. He's 8.5 seconds ahead of everybody else. Almost 9.
And growing rapidly.
So for a moment, everybody else was back up to about a 2:14, other than Holler up at 2:16. He's doing 2:16s every lap. But now they drop it back down to about 2:11, 2:10. And according to the ticker here, Gary, Gavin Sanders' last lap before he had his incident was a 2:46. So take that, Jill DeFerrin.
That must be that new mass. That super powerful Sunoco fuel.
Yep.
Speedway fuel.
Let's see. Best laps of the race. That wasn't his best lap, apparently, obviously.
Yeah, and look at that entire group. Holler 2:16, Watson 2:12, Simkowski 2:12, Morse 2:12, DeMay 2:11, Woodall 2:12. Donchek actually speeding at 2:13.
10 seconds back, Holler making a huge gap. I think there's something to this. This could be interesting.
This kind of reminds me of the one kart race I went to on a road course was at Portland, and Jill DeFerrin won that when he was driving for Walker Racing, and he just put such a blitzing on the field that he was able to come in and get his entire pit. This is during his last stint. Was able to get his entire pit done and everything, and still pop out before P2. So he built up such a delta that he was able to do that. It's conceivable. I don't think it's conceivable yet. He's going to have to stop here sometime in the next 10 laps, I'm sure. He has nothing to lose, but just to throw down every fast lap he can right now.
Pete Donchek in this group now, saved by this caution. He's in P6, ahead of.
And he's still the fastest of that group, at 2:10. Everyone else is a 2:07 or a 2:08.
That gap is now to Holler is now 12.5 seconds, 13 seconds. I really poo-pooed Holler on that strategy, but this is going to be really interesting.
It's 25 to go.
You're talking about that Jill DeFerrin thing at Portland. I don't remember that specifically, but back in say the Schumacher era in Formula One, you used to have them do those kind of those Ferrari cars that just go out there and blitz the field and come in, take their pit. And without losing anything. I think in that era they were able to go so fast and pit like 3 times during the race, and other teams would be like pit once. And that's why they ended up, the FIA ended up making like a rule change in like 2004, 2005 or something. This leads up to the USGP, where there was where the tires were, you know, they couldn't change
the Bridgestone,
the Bridgestone thing,
and Michelin,
yeah. So like they had made that change where then they weren't going to have any tire changes at all in Formula One to kind of counteract that Ferrari advantage that they had by changing tires 3 times a race. So yeah, led to that fiasco. Simkowski.
I remember that was a period that Schumacher regularly hit grand slams, and it was no big deal because he would lead every lap, win the pole, have the fastest lap, and of course win the race.
Yep. But
so right now, Haller has exactly a half a lap lead over P2 right now. He's entering He's right now between 3 and 4, P2 between turns 1 and 2.
He's going to have to pit here soon. I think maybe 3 or 4 more laps at most, but we'll see. That'll be 20 to the end for him. It'll be 18 to the end. He's going to come back out on the lead lap for sure. And he's going to be back in 10th behind Espo, but he's going to be making up ground on Espo big.
Here he comes.
There it is. Yep.
No speeding, no speeding. Hit those cones. There he goes. Good job. Riding that line right next to that concrete. Here comes P2. He just crossed the start-finish line, so he actually gets credit for leading the lap while on pit road. Now here comes everybody passing him. He hits his box. He's going to change tires and everything.
Yeah.
Might as well. Going to short fuel, but he is good to go to the end. And he's going to have nobody to work with. But if he can run as he did before at full speed, he's going to run this group down. But he needs a hustle. He really needs a hustle.
Everybody in this group is now down to 209 kind of laps. So they're even getting slower, it almost seems like. So this actually plays slightly into Holler's favor. Okay, so he comes out. He's on the back straightaway. He is 18 seconds back. We just saw what he made. I wish I knew.
And that was 38 seconds on pit road right there. 38 seconds on pit road total. He spent 8 seconds flat in the box.
This is going to be like exactly the time that he catches up to that pack is about the time the checker flag is coming out, I think, is what my estimation is.
20 to go.
Heck of a strategy, regardless of what happens. Made it entertaining for us.
So I wonder of this group up front, who's going to push the button. I did some pep talks to some of these guys up there. I was talking to Watson before the race. I was talking to Lewis before the race, and I said, "You guys play this smart and keep yourself in position there at the last stint. You could put yourself in a position to win." And that is right where they are right now. These guys are playing it extremely smart. But who's going to push that button? Who's going to push the go button?
Into turn 1 they go. 18 laps left in this one. Well, 11. Yeah, so we didn't talk about this, but Albie is still running. We didn't talk about that at all. He was a lap down. So tough break for Albie. But he's at the end of this group.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to stop, I don't think.
He's kind of on the same strategy as everybody else, I'd say.
Well, I'm not sure. I think he spent some extra time on pit road, but we'll see.
Yeah, you might be right. He's 1 lap of caution better than the other group.
Strategically, watch Dakota. He is absolutely running the absolute shortest line around this place. Doesn't have any help, but you can't run it any shorter.
Well, he'll get, he already led a lap, but he'll get another one in the column.
217, he might have pushed the button. He might have said, I'm going. Yeah, 211 at the exit, 210 at the exit, 211 right now.
Going on board with Lewis Woodall. In this train, let's see. Holler is 13 seconds back with...
Caved off 5.
Yeah. It's 13 seconds back from Espo.
He did a 33.2 last time by. Leaders did a 34.1. So he is slowly.
A second on lap.
Oh, he's gonna get there before the end.
Yeah, but like 2 laps to go, maybe. It's gonna be very close. Yeah, he could. He's gonna be so fast though, and he's gonna have all these cars in the way. This is gonna be interesting.
I'll go ahead and watch the times there. That time by Dakota, 33.4. Another 33.4. Holler hitting the start-finish line now.
These cars exiting turn 2.
33.2. That's what makes me think that this lead group has picked it up.
Yeah, I think that it's kind of this cycle. There some laps they're pushing, and then other laps they break off. You know, they can start conserving a little bit as they see their crew chief saying, "Nope, you can't make it on that number."
Watson passing Isaac on the high side. Gonna take a look to the inside on Dakota.
They're kind of really single file at the moment.
Time by Watson, a 33 flat.
You notice
Holler coming by now is going to be doing a 33.2. So he's actually losing ground.
Has been the whole time. I don't think he's led any, and I'm talking about since the pit stop. I don't believe he's led any, and he's just kind of stuck in the draft. I think that's exactly where you want to be, because when it is go time, and that'll be, a few laps from the end.
Yeah, I even say it's too early right now to be go time. To be honest,
it's not go time.
Yeah, I mean, if it is, where you're going to go?
Yeah, exactly. You're just going to be burning so much fuel that you're going to be running out on the final lap. But we'll see. They'll let these drivers, they're in the cockpit. They know how much fuel's in their car.
And track temp's coming down, so that's just going to help them here. So current conditions, 77 ambient, 93 on the track surface.
10 laps to go here. Watson looking kind of inside. Didn't really have
Watson and Woodall playing it really, really smart. I don't think they're listening to me, but it was definitely my advice. I said, play it smart to the end. All you need to do, you need to stay in that draft. You need to stay with that lead group, and all you need to do is make it to that last stint where you can finally race for the win.
Well, I think Watson's put on a smart season, so I think he's listening to you, Gary. Because,
well, I've already said it's about a time that it's just a matter of time before he wins one, based upon his consistency. So I would not be surprised that he gets the win here, pulls the trigger. That'll be great. Caleb moving up to fourth.
Last lap was a 33.2 for Dakota. He looks like he's going full burn. Holler was a 33.2 as well.
I don't think Holler's going to catch this group now. I think they kind of teased him a little bit with a couple of laps of we're going to putz around, and now all of a sudden hammer down.
That's right.
And Dakota is not even worried about saving fuel. He is in fifth gear, 100% throttle.
Fancy trying to get up here now too. Moving into the fourth spot. 8 laps to go here. Isaac Morris moving up to second. And right at the end here, I mean, they haven't been driving super hard, but this is where their tires are also going to be coming off because they will have put about 40 laps on these tires.
Hopped in the Watson's car. He's running the high line still. He's using 6 gear, so he's maybe saving a little bit more before making a run. But he's got a run now on Isaac.
Caleb stayed right on his gearbox, too, as he was taking that high line. Woodall there in P5. Dakota, Watson, and Bensi. That's 1, 2, 3 in the championship points. So they're all up here.
At this point, you don't want to do anything stupid to jeopardize.
Bensi
and they're racing really close. Bensi and Watson.
Yes.
Just make her to the finish, boys. 6 to go.
If there's a caution at this point, I think we'll have 2 or 3 laps to the shootout. But if we get to about lap 4, if we get a caution, that's Dakota win, or whoever's in the lead.
No, I don't want to commentary or comment or jinx Dakota here. He's had a rough couple of weeks. Last couple of events, a victory would be nice. Watson, there he goes inside. Watson going down the backstretch into 3.
I was telling him today that actually, you know who has the most wins this season is Isaac Morris. He has 3 wins. Dakota has 2. Caleb has 2. Just those one-offs that Isaac has, not in the championship hunt.
Watson didn't really defend there too much.
4 laps to go. Kohler has caught Espo, but Espo is also 8 seconds back from Lusher.
Yeah, he might get that. He might get
place,
P9 there.
I think we're going to have a car or 2 running out on the final lap here as Caleb goes high side.
We're going to go 3 wide.
3 wide.
Oh!
This is what you live for, isn't it, Gary?
This is where I say, it's not too early, and no, it's about the right time to go 3 wide, and they're doing it low. Look at that.
Yeah.
Isaac the Viper just waiting to pounce, biding his time.
And that is 2 laps to go.
Oh, Caleb just trying to find a hole there.
Yeah, Watson
and they're going to go
his car really wide.
3 wide almost.
These are the top 3 in the championship here.
Be smart, fellas.
I just have to imagine that Dakota's car might burp right to the finish line out of 4.
3 wide in the 3. Coming to the white flag. This is going to be good. He just Bensi into the wall.
1 lap to go. White flag
I think Watson had that. No debate, had that just barely that time.
Yes, he did. 1 lap to go here. It's going to be between, we'll see fuel. DeMade, Watson, Morris in the background. Hasn't had a win on the oval yet here in the Schaeffer.
Still got time. Exiting turn 4. Here he comes, and I don't think Watson's going to make it. Watson's slowing. Watson's slowing, and it's going to be Dakota winning. Isaac getting P2, and Caleb gets
no.
Watson gets 3rd. It
keeps changing.
Bensi getting 3rd, Watson 4th, and Woodall getting 5th. So a great top 5 run for all those guys there. Just coming up a little bit short for Watson.
Great win by Dakota. Great fuel saving. I didn't quite think he could have done it with the fuel save there because he was running. You gotta maybe
wonder when they started getting situated in that group. You saw about 5 or 6 laps of Watson kind of out front leading there. You kind of maybe wonder if maybe kind of thinks about staying back in line and not making that run to the front.
Getting
It's
some
hard.
donuts
It's
from
hard.
Dakota.
I mean, it is hard. I mean, when you see that, you see first place, you see an opportunity, you want to pounce on it, and it is really hard to contain yourself sometimes. And maybe he had a run and he just had to go. I don't know, but all he needed was just mere drops.
Well, that is it for us. Let's head to the booth and see if we got any drivers that want to talk here. I see Caleb's there. We'll be right back though. I want to set this up correctly. All right, we'll grab Dakota first. He's the winner. We'll grab him first.
Gotta ask him how much is left in the tank.
Hey Dakota, this is Matt. We got Gary in the booth here.
Matt and Gary, how's it going, guys?
How much is left in the tank?
I had another lap. I had a whole nother lap.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna burp coming out of turn 4, as you saw Watson do.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
So, during that last stint, those guys were saving just a ton of fuel. And I even knew at the time, I was like, we're saving a little too much fuel, actually. So I just decided to save a bit more in the back of the pack. And then when I was good to go, just let it rip, So that was fun. It felt like one of those bicycle races that you watch and you just want to go as slow as possible in the slipstream and then break out at the last second. I wish every oval race was like that because that was so much fun.
Well, big win. I told you today, I said, hey, you got to get that win because Isaac has 3 wins in the series. You've tied him for that. Obviously, he's the road course expert. You're showing to be the oval expert over here. And you're going to take some points away from Caleb there, and you're going to extend your lead. That's what you needed going into these final 2 races.
Absolutely. That's definitely what I needed. Spa and Gateway aren't my best tracks, so I wanted to maximize the point lead going into that, and I'm feeling really confident now, so this is good. This is very good.
Well, we talked about, because you told me about how you had Hardee's today. We're in California, so I think you had Carl Jr.'s instead. So I think that's a lucky thing for you. You might want to do that next week at Spa. We'll see what happens.
Gross.
Oh yeah, that's my superstitious ritual now. I guess it's just
the good thing this is virtual racing because you don't want to be putting on the pounds if that was a real car.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. Hey Dakota, any news you want to share with all the crowd out here today? Any shout outs, that kind of thing?
Check out Sunset Arctic Games at Sunset Arctic on Twitter. Echo Blade coming out in November, full game. I've explained it enough, I think, but yeah, dungeon explorer, puzzle action game with mechanic of echolocation, so that's gonna be really fun. And Voltic Pistol will be going on sale next week, so you guys can check that out too. And check out Sunset Arctic Graphics, where I do a bunch of iRacing paints and graphics and whatnot. So if you need any of those, go ahead and reach out to me. And shout out to Lucas and Alyssa. I know they're watching tonight, so yeah.
Sounds good. Well, again, this is a big win. You're going to extend that lead. Caleb gets 3rd, but that's going to be 15 points extended on him.
Oh yeah,
so
it's huge.
Yeah, it's looking in your favor a bit, but we still got 2 races to go. You got to survive Spa and Gateway, like you said. So you take care, Dakota, and I'll see you in about an hour at the road course.
All right, see you there, Matt.
All right, see you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Well,
yeah, I didn't want to say it to jinx him, but when you really think about moments that win or lose you a championship, that decision right there, just to wait a little bit and then go, hey, I think those guys are saving a little bit too much. That's a little added weight. I'm going to go now. That might be what actually decides the championship from a first-time championship winner to possibly Caleb three-peating. So that sometimes just those little calls make all the difference in the world, especially when you're a tight points battle with 2 races left to go now.
That's right. Well, we're going to get Isaac Morris up here. Isaac, this is Matt. Got Gary in the booth. I said to Gary when I was looking at my overlay, and I said, "Hey, there is a wild Isaac Morris has joined the session." Got a copy there, Isaac?
Yeah.
Well, how entertaining was that for you, man?
Not gonna lie, that was a really fun race. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, there's plenty of scary moments. There was a lot of green flag running, which was nice. I think, we had 1 caution. Is that right? We just had the 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, and, it's really interesting to see how the race was going to pan out with the fuel saving at the end. I saved way too much fuel. I ended up finishing the race with 8 laps left in my tank.
Ooh.
I kind of got that sense. I was telling Gary, I said, I don't see Isaac. He hasn't led a lap in this final stint, and so he's got a bunch of fuel. I didn't think it was that much, but I thought you'd be, really ready to go. But then I guess Dakota thought he was in that way as well. So,
I mean, yeah, I wasn't going to fight Dakota because I know he's in the championship fight, and I'm nowhere to be seen really in the championship. So, when I saw him going past, I was like, I'll just let him go, let him do his own thing, and then I'll just pick up the pieces behind him. And that's literally how it happened, finishing behind him. Yeah, I don't particularly want to be messing around with anyone's championship hopes or anything, considering
you
I'm
not.
Yeah, don't be that guy. So.
That happens from time to time. It happens, but so the statistic that I gave Dakota earlier today, and I've mentioned twice on the broadcast already, was that you currently had the most wins this season, although you're not in the championship contention because you missed some races. But I told Dakota, I said, you got to go win that so you can tie it up and beat Isaac on the tiebreaker or whatever. Whatever that would be. But yeah, you've made it on the road courses. He's made it on the ovals. You going to be back here at Spa next week?
Yeah, maybe.
Make it 4 on the road courses, I think. Maybe no. I think we had Sebring that you weren't here, so I'd have to double check what road courses we won. But you've won the ones that you showed up to. So
yeah. Yeah, honestly, it was a really good race. The racecraft was really good between everyone. And I have to say, especially, I think it was Michael. His racecraft was really good when me and him were battling, and I was kind of expecting the worst because my connection's not all too great. I've got a bit of a higher ping than some people in here, so I was expecting to cause a crash at some point, but luckily that didn't happen. And we came home second, so I'm happy.
Well, we said during the broadcast, we also said that maybe you don't have as much experience with a lot of the drivers, like driving around the other drivers in this series as much as you have in other series like VOR. But you were up there with them. You learned that you could trust them, and I have to say this just historically, going back to the very first RIL IndyCar race, it was at Michigan. I think we only had 1 or 2 cautions in that one too. So since the very beginning, they've put in this series really great 2-mile oval races. So this is another one here tonight.
Yeah, definitely one to remember for sure.
Well, congrats there, Isaac. Hey, any shout outs, Apex Sage coaching, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, just like to just say thanks to Apex Age coaching. Obviously, I run it, so kind of thanking myself. But yeah, just I help people out in the IndyCar. Just hit me up on Discord or Twitter at Apex Age Coach, and I can get you into a few lessons, help you around the car, and I think I'm actually going to be helping out James Watson for Spa. So
watch out for him. So
Well, he's been having
Yeah.
a really good season. He's, I think he'll stay second in points, but yeah, he's having a heck of a season, and he's really learning his racecraft in these Indy cars. He was the turbo champion last season. That was over in kind of half PM18, half IndyCar. But yeah, he's really come along. I've noticed. I think Gary noticed as well because he's
Yep.
yeah. All right, well, you take care, Isaac, and we'll see you next week at Spa.
thank you guys.
Yep. We'll get Caleb. I think Caleb wanted us to interview him first. he was the first in the waiting room. But I'm sorry, Caleb.
Glad you got the hint. Yeah.
Once I got it all set up, I had to get everything together. Dakota was in there. We had to give, to the winner, 3-time winner. But yeah, tell me about your race. You caught the wall there at the end, but tell me about the rest of your race.
That was a very odd race. I could not figure out anything at that first stint. Like you could see that me and Dakota just dropped like rocks. Like we weren't saving or anything. Like it was just unbelievable understeer.
Huh.
And then typical these type of setups, I guess you just couldn't feel anything that was happening. So I was really struggling to figure out anything. And by that point, I probably wore out my right front. So did a couple changes and stuff, and then actually found some pace. And would have liked that to just go green to the end because I actually feel like it had really good pace there and had a good line. But yeah, then the fuel save was probably quite interesting to watch. It was quite interesting to be a part of.
Yeah, it was.
Waited a little too long to go. I had a little over a lap extra at the end, so I probably should have been more towards the front or should have gone a little early. But I just wanted to be cautious because it's hard to know for sure. Like you don't want to risk it, I guess. But and then yeah, I truly did not have a lot of fun racing James there. A lot of reactionary blocks and stuff. So that wasn't very fun, and it was kind of frustrating towards the end because I never really got a shot at the win. But definitely feel like I had the pace, but just wasn't meant to be there.
One thing I mentioned to Isaac back there, but going back to the very first RIL race at Michigan, we that was I think there was only 1 or 2 cautions in that race. That was the first race for the league, but these 2-mile ovals, I think the league puts on a great show. It seems to every time we come to these 2-mile ovals. This was another good one. Maybe you didn't get to the top step of the podium, but it was a pretty entertaining watch to see this whole thing unfold for us up here in the booth.
Yeah. I've already got 3 texts saying how crazy of a race that was, so I think they enjoyed it. But
it was a race of like, you go ahead and lead. No, you go ahead and lead. And,
I was gonna say,
yeah.
I don't think I enjoyed it. But, yeah, it was 2-mile tracks are pretty unique, especially if you have a good setup. Because I know the one RAL race was good, the other one was terrible, just because of the setup and conditions and stuff. So if you have a good setup and good conditions and stuff, you can really put on a good show that's not packy, but not spread out. And, so yeah, I mean, in that sense, it was good, but definitely was getting frustrated with a few guys. But
all right, well, hey, we'll let you go. But any final shout outs? Obviously, it sounds like you got some fans that were watching. Any thank yous to them, friends, family, that kind of thing.
I think grandparents, and I think my girlfriend was watching. Friends, family, anyone who's tuning in right now. But as always, thanks to you guys and Race First and FunandFanny.com for custom body care as always. And yeah, it's just a pretty good race. So congrats to Dakota and Isaac. And yeah, I guess move on to Spa. Hope for another good result.
Well, you got some experience at Spa, and we'll see you next week. And we're going to be running down this championship to the end here at Spa and then in Gateway. So take care till then, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, despite all the fuel saving, I mean, Dakota had his fastest lap at lap 89. Isaac had his at 90. Watson at 96. Woodall at 86. Zemkowski at 94, Neil Lusher at 91, Holler at 97. So despite all the fuel savings, some of these guys were definitely saving some of their best till the absolute end, and that kind of proves it and everything. But I found it extremely entertaining. So I think what the RIL needs to do for next season is Legacy Michigan, night race at Fontana, then a day race at Fontana. 4 dates there on the calendar, all 2-mile ovals. Highly entertaining. Is going to bring great ratings to Race First and to the RRL. Do it, book it. I guarantee it. I'll put my name on that.
I thought you were going to say, and I know Dakota before this, Legacy Michigan at night. No?
I don't think you can do that.
Or you can do it. You just can't see. So
well,
anyway,
if that's the case, we all need to race at LMP2 cars then.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we did that once, but it was at iRacing Super Speedway.
Yeah, that was entertaining, but
yes,
yeah.
It was. Isidro, you got to watch out for him in those. So, hey, let's go through a final. It's going to be really easy to do our final results here. Dakota DeMay takes the top spot. He's going to extend to his championship lead. Isaac Morris, P2. Caleb Bensey, P3. James Watson, P4. Lewis Woodall. Alex Zimkowski. Pete Donchak has a really good finish here in P7. Neil Lusher, P8. Good finish for him. Holler comes home in P9. That alternate strategy not quite working out, but it was exciting. Made it interesting. He led a bunch of laps. We got him to see him running those blazing laps out there on his own. Angelo Espo, P10, I'll be P11. Isidro, P12. Drew White, P13. Gavin Sanders, P14. Tough break there for Gavin. Another one of those.
Yeah.
He's a little bit. I know what really matters for him is the racing in the real life. I imagine these are just fun for him,
for sure.
as long as those ones are going, I was okay. That's what matters. So Joseph Tessiro, P15, rounding out the fields. Christian Jasper, really unlucky, really early exit on this one. Tough break for Christian.
Let me just kind of tell you the parity in this race. 16 drivers, 11 led a lap. That's great. I mean, that's why I said, put the 2-mile ovals on the schedule for next season. I think you'll probably see more than 16 cars show up next time when a lot of people see, hey man, that's kind of fun. I shouldn't have missed that one, but I tell you what, I'm kind of lost for words because I had a great time tonight, and this was a highly entertaining race. Even though it was a small field, I think we kind of anticipated that it would be one of those type of races, and it definitely delivered. So it was good to be here, and good to see that this group did so well.
Yeah, it was a great race, and I've got a picture of what the next season schedule is going to be, but I won't release anything. Because I've signed the non-disclosure agreements and that kind of stuff.
Dun, dun, dun.
But I bet we're gonna have it in the next couple of weeks. Next week's Spa, but I bet we're gonna have it at the Gateway finale. We'll have that schedule.
That'd be great.
And we'll be back here next week, same time, same place for Spa, and it's gonna be interesting with our fast road course aces coming back here.
Yeah.
And we have to thank you to Schaeffer's Cup. Or Schaeffer's Oil for sponsoring the series here. Tomorrow, Gary's going to be broadcasting from Milwaukee, Daredevil Brewing Turbo Series.
Then we got Alex Van de Sande, who's the new points leader. West Shire there. Missed last week because of work. He has a little ground to make up. James Curtis, P3. Simon Spell, P4. Savion Ragster there, P5. Everybody's all within tight grouping there. We're going to do 100 laps at Milwaukee. Then we're going to move on to Laguna Seca, and then we're going to join everybody, including the Schaeffer Series, all at Gateway for the final race there to wrap up the second Daredevil Series championship. And it's tight as ever, and we'll definitely see a new champion because the current champion right now finished fourth today. A good finish for him. And other than that, shout out to you, and shout out to my wife. We had our 24th anniversary this week, so shout out to her and everything. And it's great to be here, and everybody watching at home, hope you liked it, and catch us tomorrow and next week for more action.
Sounds good. Well, congratulations there, Gary.
Thank you.
And we'll let Schaeffer's Oil take us out here.
Ever since I've switched to Schaeffer's Oil, I've never had a reason to even try anything else. And that's one thing that I'm proud about, is the fact that I can't tell you how good something else is because I know how good Schaeffer's Oil is. My engine builders, Tony and Glenn Clements, have said about the oil we run. They've told us that out of all the motors that they get and rebuild every year, ours looks the best, and a lot of that has to do with the oil that we run. One of the things that I love about Schaeffer's Oil is the fact that all of their reps are out in the field and at the racetracks with us, seeing what all the racers need, seeing what ideas we have or anything that we can improve on. And you just can't beat the customer service of having a rep for, you know, one of the main components of our race team, whether it's at our engine oil, transmission fluid, rear end oil, having somebody there that represents that brand and also gives us some support and also the knowledge that we need to be making the right calls and just helping us out with our entire racing program. It means a lot to our race team to have that. My name's Chris Ferguson and I drive the number 22 dirt late model. I've been using Schaeffer's Oil racing products since 2009. I absolutely have no doubt that we're using the best products that is possible for dirt late model racing.